Today we'll be matching up these two brand new cameras against each other, the Sony Rx0 and the Gopro Hero 6. Over the past week I've been vlogging with these two brand new action cameras, and today I want to show you my results, which is the better action camera, which is the better vlogging cam. So let's get started. Sony presented the Sony Rx0 just a few weeks ago, and in the presentation, also an event that they gave for a bunch of content creators, they mentioned that the Sony Rx0 is not an action camera, it is a production camera. It has a lot of features like syncing up many Rx0s to each other to be able to get new angles with syncing up these cameras, I guess. But for me that's a little bit less important. When I saw the specs of the Sony Rx0, I thought this would be an optimal action camera for my vlogging needs. Not only for action shots, but also for daily vlogging shots when it's not practical taking with the big Sony A7s II that I'm filming with right now. Because this camera has amazing low light performance, and on paper it also has amazing capabilities as an action camera, like high frame rate shooting, being waterproof without an extra housing, and having two really good stereo microphones in this camera. But I'll show you today why the Sony Rx0 absolutely is not the best action camera, but definitely is the best vlogging camera if you're just getting started out. On paper, the Gopro Hero 6 looks absolutely amazing, especially considering the one point that always bothered me about the past GoPros that I had, the lack of optical stabilization. If I'm going out for a run on the beach, I want to have something that I can hold in my hand and still has stable footage. I was actually shocked when I saw how stable the footage actually is. Over the past few years I wasn't a big fan of GoPro, but with this new camera I'm just absolutely amazed. I'm gonna match the GoPro Hero 6 up to the Sony Rx0. Even though Sony says the Rx0 isn't an action camera, I believe that a lot of people are going to use it as just that, an action camera. So let's match these two up against each other and see what the real result is. So currently I'm shooting this video with 120 frames per second in 1080p on both cameras, just because when you're running there's a lot of shake and I like to even it out by slowing down the footage. But one test I want to do here right off the bat is test the audio. So this is the audio of the GoPro Hero 6 and this is the audio of the Rx0. So we got back from our run and I started reviewing the footage from us running, and I realized something shocking. The Rx0 doesn't film 120 frames per second in 1080p, it only records in 720p, which is a huge minus point. So now I changed the settings on the camera from 120 frames per second to 60 frames per second, just to test this camera for, you know, vlogging sequences and that kind of stuff. This is right now the Sony Rx0 in 1080p, 60 frames per second. This is the GoPro, also set to 60 frames per second at 1080p. Right now I'm gonna head out to a coffee shop close by. It's Joe and the Juice. The light conditions are gonna be a little bit lower, but we have a high dynamic range because it's dark inside the coffee shop, but bright outside. I gotta get some work done on my laptop. Let's go there. So the next shots I want to get with these two cameras are the high frame rate shoot modes, which on the GoPro would be 120 and 240 frames per second. On the Rx0 it's 240, 480 and 960 frames per second. My girlfriend is a karate black belt and she's going to do a kata performance for us, so we can get some awesome slow-mo footage hopefully. is Halloween today and we are going out to town to present our costumes for today, and what better opportunity to test the low-light performance on the Rx0 and the GoPro Hero 6. But take a guess, who am I going as? And who is she going as? Video, there's a few things I still would like to mention in regards to the Rx0. One being that the menu is an absolute atrocity. Especially the high frame rate filming is so complicated and you can only film a few seconds at a time, which means you have to plan out your shot every time. You can't just take the camera, run and gun and film a cool sequence, slow it down in post-production. The other thing is the screen is very small and it also hasn't got a touch screen. The Sony Rx0 is almost the same size as the GoPro Hero 6. The screen on the backside is just so much smaller. Both cameras crashed several times during filming. This will be addressed with a software update, but it's just something I wanted to let you guys know. And then of course there's the price issue. The Rx0 is around $200 more expensive than the GoPro Hero 6. So for some people that might be a no-go. But overall, I think the Sony Rx0 is a great vlogging camera. It's not a great action camera. The GoPro Hero 6 is an okay vlogging camera, but as an action camera it's the best thing I've had so far. So I hope this video helps you with the decision between the Rx0 and the GoPro Hero 6. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below which camera you think is better, the Sony Rx0 or the GoPro Hero 6. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification. There's an entire vlog that I filmed with these two cameras, matching them up against each other, so go and check that out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Goodbye.